Okay, I'm live. Welcome. Let me close this door here real quick. If you can believe it, it's too warm back here. Unbelievable. We went from extremely cold to kind of seasonable, which is seasonable now. So I'm looking right now in McBain. It is 38 degrees, and our low tonight is going to be 28. Tomorrow we're going to have bright sun, and the high is going to be 53. It's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. And I am kind of like getting ready for it. And that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. Okay, so today, Tuesday, welcome to the Anyone Can Farm live chat, Tuesday night edition. Mark, your host, coming to you from Baker's Green Acres, lovely Marion, Michigan. Nice day out today. Let's see, March 3rd. Ooh, well, I'm thinking about it's supposed to be a blood moon tonight. Would be kind of interesting to get out there and see it. Maybe in a couple minutes, I'll jump up and look out and see what I see. Today around here, wow, what a day. What a day. I mean, you want to talk about perspective. We sort of just came out of winter into the nicer area, and everything changes. I mean, I think the more in tune and the more tied you get to your homestead, at least this is the way it has worked for me, I can see that the animals slow down. And when I see them start to slow down and sleep a lot, then it's okay that I want to do that. It's okay. Sometimes I feel like, wow, I am not loving life here. It's just really cold and windy and not having fun, and doesn't seem like I can get as much done, and I'm not that psyched. And that's winter. That's winter for you. That's cabin fever. That's it. And there's all kinds of ways that you can you can counteract that. And I think that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. Not really counteracting cabin fever, although maybe the next time we talk about cabin fever next year, you can remind me that what I said, a good way to counteract that would be with spring fever. I got spring fever. So that's the topic of tonight is spring fever. I'm going to talk about a few other things because I just had a good day. I had a wild day. Not really wild, just fulfilling. I had a fulfilling day. And I just kind of like to talk about that and what that made me feel about what's coming. See, humans definitely have feelings, and it definitely has something to do with your process that you're involved with. If you don't like the process, then you need to find a process that you do like. That's all I can say about that. I mean, I don't think we can get somebody into homesteading or farming and they can grow to love it. Maybe that's not a true statement, though, because the level that you get into homesteading is sort of what I would call the Pinterest level. You see things that are kind of cute, and when you see them, they give you a good feeling. Oh, I'd like to do that. And then you get those things behind you. You do those things, and then you realize, oh, here's something hard that I have to do. And then you do that. You get that behind you. I think after a while, putting the hard things behind you is more fulfilling than the easy things. I think. I know that. And I know that in order to continue and to be prosperous, you have to look at difficulty as a challenge and a mountain to overcome. And just know that your comfort will be your demise. You know, if you spend day after day after day in comfort, oh, it's too cold out, I don't want to go out and take care of the animals. You know, you're going to have a tough time then. And you won't be getting yourself prepared for the tough times that come. And I think you have those tough times whether you're working in a factory or you're a golf course greenskeeper or anything. You're going to have difficult times where you're going to have to really throw down and make things happen, you know. And the more prepared you are to do that, the better off life is going to go. So let's see. I'm interested in your input on these things tonight because we are starting a new phase, I believe. All right. Why is my thing beeping? I wonder if it's because... No, I don't know. It's beeping. Jill, it's beeping. I don't know what it is. Last week we didn't actually have a very good show because something went wrong with the internet. It was beyond our control, and we had to go to Plan B, and it didn't seem to work out as good. Okay, so the day went like this. I milked today. Brian and I milk, and so I was the guy that was doing the bottling, and still learning a lot about that and how to handle the bottles and things like that. I've made some pretty good discoveries. In a week, we made discoveries. And that had to do with crates that we can fit our bottles in. And I finally got on and I asked the question on, there's a Facebook group. It's Raw Milk Producers of America. And I had thought about it for a long time. Okay, how am I going to crate these half-gallon jars? And because none of the crates that were available to me would they fit. But one lady on this page said, oh, you use this crate, and then you have to turn two of the jars at a 45-degree angle. And sure enough, they fit. You only fit 8, where I was thinking it would be 3 and 4, so 12. But if we had done that, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's 2 extra gallons. Ooh. We're putting a lot of weight in there. And with 8 half gallons, 4 gallons, that's doable for everybody that works here. Of course, it's doable for me. I can carry one with either hand, of course. But so it worked out really well. And Jill ordered, I think, 6 of them, and they're supposed to be here tomorrow. So now our movement of milk from the milk room or the milk house over to the store is going to be via milk crates that stack. They stack on each other, and then you can put a 2-wheel truck under them. So you could, all of our milk would fit in 16.8 in 3 crates right now. And, 4 crates is doable, is movable in one shot. So yeah, made some gains there and I'm feeling pretty good about that. I can't wait until those things get here tomorrow. So milking went good. We've had some calves lately and got 2 heifers, and they're nice and they're very healthy. We finally got them on buckets the day before yesterday. So when they first start out, we put them on bottles, and bottles are kind of slow. And if it's a cold night, you're sitting out there. I have a lawn chair out there, of course. So you sit out there and you're holding the bottle. And it's good because then they bond to you. They have that human touch and all that stuff. So it's good. But after about a month, we kind of rush them a little bit, so it's not quite a month. One of them's a month, one's 3 weeks, one's 2 weeks. We went to buckets, and the way you do that is you put the milk, or in this case, the milk replacer, in a bucket, and then you put your fingers sticking out like this, out of the milk, and then they suck on your fingers, and you just pull your fingers down into the milk, and they get the hang of it. And in about three feedings, now we can go out, put the bucket on the ground, and pour in the milk, and just go to the next one, pour it in, and they suck it down so quick. And we're starting their grain and their hay, and that's the process. We do that for about 8 weeks, and then they go off of milk altogether, and they're just on hay and a little bit of grain. They need the grain in the wintertime for the energy. And it's going to work out really nice because they'll be weaned just about the time the grass is coming in real good. And so they'll be on grass the rest of the summer, which really gives them a shot, really gives them a good, that's kind of why, like deer always have their young in the spring, is so the mother can eat the grass and it enriches her milk, and it gives the offspring the best chances of making it. We don't do that because we have to spread our calving out throughout the year, so we have milk for everybody, in our dairying model. So it's going pretty good. I was going pretty good. And after I finished with that, I went over to another project that I'm working on. We have a building, the Sutton building, and it's kind of a building that we pieced together after our Clearspan building blew down in a bad storm. It was okay. It was about 10 years old. No, it was about 15 years old when it finally went down. And it didn't go all the way down. We had to take it down. And we still have a lot of salvageable parts out of it. But this building, Keith had some trusses, and he gave them to me. And wouldn't you know, those trusses were the perfect size. And I mean perfect, within inches, to fit over this foundation that was left there. And so we put the poles up, we put the roof on, we had to purchase steel to go on the roof and all the trim and everything. And we did that, and we closed in one complete side of it and one end. We closed it in, and we were using it for our bread to put in our feed for the pigs, and also storing some hay in it, and also storing some equipment in it. But I made the decision, a month ago or so, that we're going to get back into teaching the boys. I still have 2 kids home, and we want to teach them some automotive repair. So we need a shop to work in. Our old shop, we turned it into the new butcher shop, and then the old butcher shop was turned into the store. And we moved all the tools over into what we call the forge, but it's not nearly big enough. It's about as big as this room, so you can't get a car in there. So this building is going to have everything that we think we need in it. And I'm actually building into it what would you call it? Preventative measures from, inoculation from the winter blues or cabin fever. Like in January and parts of February, most of February around here, it is cold out. Plus, you're worn out from it because you've already gone through quite a bit of it. I mean, it's much worse north of me. I mean, I got nothing to complain about. If you live in the UP, they're still in the midst of it right now. They're not even thinking spring. I actually have spring fever. I don't think they do up there. I don't. They still have a lot of snow. Even an hour north of me, I mean, up where Keith lives, he's got huge snow piles on his place. and they're likely to get more snow. We'll probably get more snow. We'll probably get another ground cover of snow. When March comes in like a lamb, it goes out like a lion, is what they say. Actually, the snows that you get in March can be really dangerous because they're heavy and wet and they stick to things. So we'll see. I'm hoping that we don't. Right now, I'm actually looking at 53 tomorrow, the next day 50, 47, Friday 57, Saturday 57, Sunday 50 and sunny, Monday 58 and sunny. So, I mean, it's starting to look springish. Yeah, so that's what I did. I worked on that building. I had to do some engineering and layout and see where everything was going to go. My background is maintenance. I started in automotive maintenance. I worked in a gas station when I was a kid and learned stuff there. And then I went on to aviation and did that for quite a long time. And then or like 20 years, 25 years. And then I have gotten now into farming. And, but I still enjoy automotive maintenance quite a bit. I like it. I like cars. I like cars and trucks. And I like airplanes too, but it's sort of a little out of touch for me at this point. So I'm interested in getting back into automotive and taking care of the stuff that we have. and I think I had another presentation on how I have had good luck with non-deferment. And what I mean by that is any process that is a facet of the overall farm that you're running, any facet of that you defer to someone else, you lose control of it. And it seems like there's heartache involved. Like we used to send our cows, our beef cows, to a slaughterhouse. But when we would get them back, they were a mess. And our pigs too, they would come back a mess occasionally. Sometimes we would get our pigs back and they were not our pigs. And we knew it. Our pigs are much different than other people's pigs. And so somebody else got our pigs. And by the time we picked ours up and they picked theirs up, it's too late. There was no way to do the swap because they had paid their hanging weight, we'd paid our hanging weight. You know, it just was not going to happen. So we decided that, okay, we're going to do all the butchering here where we control it, right? And many other things like that, even our own transportation, all that other stuff. We feel as though, or I feel as though, when we control it, we know what's going on and there's less heartache. So automotive maintenance to farm that out sounded like a good idea to me, but it actually turned into heartache. So we've decided, hey, we're going to do our own. We'll build our own automotive maintenance shop, right? And then my boys really need this training as they go out in life. So I worked on that today, really enjoyed that, and started to look at this maintenance shop and think, wow, I'm actually building something now that is going to be very reminiscent of my youth, right? And I'll put some fuel pumps out there, so I can every now and then ding, ding, and run out there and, yes, ma'am, can I get your windshield for you? I used to have a good time pumping gas. Really did. That was fun. So I worked on that today, and that went quite well. Let's see what else I do. I fed the pigs. I fed the cows. I got around and looked at everybody. Right before I came in, I went out to look at the cows that are going to be calving this month. There's one that is a first time heifer. Her name is May, and she's a little on the small side. And I just really like her. She is just a very nice, personable cow. If I go out, she wants to come over and get petted. Some of the other cows, none of them are mean, but some of them, if you want to pet them, they're like, nah, I don't want to be petted. And they'll walk away, which is fine. You don't want every cow to come over and want to be petted. But this May is really nice. And so I went out to see her, and she's huge. And her backside is all swelled up. And then I sat out there with her for a little while. I just sat on the ground and looked out, and the sky was beautiful. It was red sky at night. So that means we'll have a nice day tomorrow. And it kind of went hand in hand with a conversation I had with a friend today. We were talking about cow business. She sent me a message saying that she was looking for another cow, and she's got one. It's her very first cow, and she's doing well with it. And she's got a good customer base for her herd share. Things are going good, and she wants another cow. And I had some things that I wanted to say to her about that I've learned. You don't need to step in the same pile of poop that I did. And I didn't want her to do that. So I had a couple things I wanted to say to her. And so we talked for a little bit. And she said to me, oh, man, I've got spring fever so bad. And I thought, you know what? I do too. I didn't say it, but I really did. And as I walked around, I thought, you need to embrace this. You need to see that it is changing. Winter is on its way out. Yeah, it's going to rear its head a couple more times, I'm sure. But spring is coming. And how do you meet that in the most effective way? So here's where it gets kind of touchy-feely, because I was sitting out there amongst my cows. They come over to me, they lick my pants, not all of them, a couple of them. And May was being a real good girl, and the sky is beautiful. I've got my jacket unzipped. I mean, it is mild out, no gloves on, no hat on. It's really nice. It's just before I came in, so it would have been like 6:45 or 6:50. I sat out there for about 10 minutes. And I got to thinking, this is it right here. So what the heck is our life anyway? There's stuff that you have to do. And it's really nice if your process is something that you like and you get a feeling of personal achievement out of it. But that's not always the case. And that's where perseverance comes in. When I'm feeding the cows and it is 10 below, my tractor doesn't want to run. I don't want to be out there. Any place where the air is hitting me, it's cutting my cheeks. My eyes are watering because I'm not complaining, but that's how it is in the months of winter. And then it was like that yesterday. It was like that today. It's going to be like that tomorrow. You look at the weather report, and it's going to be below zero for the next 10 days. And it's hard for me to say, oh, spring is coming. I can say it, but it doesn't really, I don't get that feeling, that spring fever feeling. I don't get that feeling. So I'm sitting there tonight and I'm thinking, what is life all about? And I come down to, well, there's things that I have to do. And sometimes they're not enjoyable, but sometimes they are. And tonight was one of those times. I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, this is why I keep going. Just this short 10-minute period sitting there peaceful animals, all eating. Some of them licking my pants and my hands and stuff, being nice to me. Every one of them had. This is another thing. Every one of the cows that I have, there's 10 of them. There's a story that goes with them. You know, I know things about them. I know where they came from. I know how we felt about them at one time, and I know how we feel about them now. I mean, things change. So it was a special moment, and I didn't even know it was coming, but it did. It came. It really tied a bow on the day. I had a really good day, and there's a lot going on, and it's easy for me to say, "Oh, I ignore all that stuff. I don't care about what happens in Iran." Well, I kind of do because I've got two kids in the military, and I know how these things can go, and other things that are going on. There's just a ton of stuff going on, and I'm going to acknowledge that stuff. I'm going to keep an eye on it, but that's it. And then I'm going to shift over to what I can do. What I can do. I can build out this shop. I can get these cows milked. I can get that milk moved. I can, mentor my children. I can take care of my wife. I can, eat good dinners and stuff. I can sleep in a warm bed. I got plenty of clothes to wear. I mean, I got it made. And that's what I can do. I don't need to pay attention to all the negative. I need to embrace something bigger than that, like, hey, aren't you afraid they're going to nuke? There's going to be a nuclear exchange. I don't even want to give it any thought, honestly, because I can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about it. I'm definitely not going to spend a lot of valuable time, and our time is valuable, to waste it on talking about things that we can't really do anything about. I mean, I know you can vote and all that stuff. You can pray. Yeah, that's good. But the projects that I'm working on around here that are really going to make a difference in the long run, I can do something about that. So spring is coming. It's kind of like it's welling up inside of me. I don't know what you call it. The juices are flowing up. I don't know. My chlorophyll must be coming to the tops, whatever. So I believe that I want to be very prepared for spring. I'm going to prepare for spring. So what does that mean to me? I am going to get things lined up so the jobs that we have to do, we don't have to go chasing things. I know I want to build some more fence. So if I get a minute and I can't think of anything to do, I'm going to load up the rolls of fence and I'm going to take them over there and drop them off. They're there. Oh, my fence is over there. I'm going to get the posts, put them over there. I'm going to get the post hole digger. I actually have one of those things, pretty sweet. And I'm going to get it started up and run and make sure it's going. Put it on the fencing trailer, ready to go. I'm going to do as much of that as I can. Prep. I'm going to be a prepper for spring, for the good that's coming in spring. Those mild days, the smell of, wildflowers and chirping of birds and everything that comes with it. Just the difference of energy. Well, there may be a nuclear exchange. We'll have a nuclear cloud over us. Well, if that happens, then I guess I'll stay in and read a book or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna proceed as though that is not going to happen, because I kind of don't think it is. There's a lot of things to know about that whole thing, and because I was in it for so long, I kind of know things. I kind of know things, and I'm not too worried about it, and I don't think you should either. Um, I will say this. Let me just say this, just to kind of put you at ease, maybe, if this thing that's going on with Iran is troublesome. The only part of that that's troublesome to me is that we're working partner in partner with Israel. That I don't like. I don't like to partner with anybody, any other countries, because there's too much that goes with that, right? I don't like that. I don't like that. But the leadership in Iran has been a royal pain for a long time. And just in my time in the military, they did some hellacious stuff and they never paid the price. And they're actually, they're religious zealots. Doesn't matter what religion they are. It does not matter. It's just that they're insulated from reality and they have all this funding available to them. And so they do things in the name of their religion, which is definitely anti-West. They say anti-West, they should say anti-white is what it is. They cannot stand people that are not like them. And there's a lot to know about Persia and the mullahs and all that stuff. There's a lot to know. But it was about time. They're a real pain. Now, the Persians, the Iranians, they're okay. It's a good society. And it was a great place for the mullahs to infest and take advantage of. And that's what they did and have been doing for a long time. And it's cost a lot of American lives. So it's about time. I know we took out their nuclear aspirations, but we did not take out their leadership and their love of terrorism, proxy terrorism, a lot of it. But we did now, and we did it quick, and we are not going to be in a war over there. That's not how this is going to work. This is knocking down that infrastructure and giving the people a chance to put in place a decent government that will serve them better. And in turn, we can work with them. I mean, they're a great group of people to work with. They're not like Iraqis. They're hard to work with, you know. It's like they're not real good to work with. So this could be a very good thing, but it's going to take a while and it's going to be painful, but it had to be done sooner or later. If those people had got their hands on any kind of nuclear weapons, they would use them if they could. But that's easier said than done. Delivery is everything. And we're real good at delivery. We can deliver anything, anywhere, anytime, overnight, guaranteed. But other countries cannot. They cannot. They can't make good on the delivery. They can't bring it in a suitcase, right? I know you've heard about suitcase nukes. Everybody has, but that's not reality. Or it's not the kind of reality you think. Anyway, fear not. Get into prepping, but not prepping because you're afraid that something's going to happen, society's going to collapse. Once you are, and then summer, and then fall, if that happens, you're already prepped. You've done everything that you can do, and that's all you can do is what you can do. All right, so that's it. Spring fever, it's coming. Embrace it. It's sort of like a wave that's coming, you know, and you're a surfer. You can let it trounce you onto the beach, or learn how to get out in front of it and use the momentum of that wave to get as much done and have as much fun. Planning's definitely part of it. If you're a surfer, you have to plan, right? You have to plan. And you want to be able to put as much of that energy towards getting the mission accomplished as possible. So that means you got to have things in place. You got to have tools. You got to have the knowledge. Okay, for instance, let's say, you say, I'm going to get out there this summer and I'm going to build some fences. And if we were talking, I'd say, are you pretty good at building fences? And you say, oh no, I've never built a fence in my life. I'd say, well, bear down on learning it now, right? The ground's still frozen, so you can't build fences now. Let's bear down on learning that now. Let's draw it out on a piece of paper. This is how you're going to do it. I'd say, hey, have you got a post hole digger? Well, no, I don't. Is there such a thing? Yeah, it looks like this. You get it here. Go get it. Now, go get it. Go get it. Then you have it. Do you have a hammer? Yeah. And I see this little tiny hammer. No, that's not a hammer. That's make believe. That's for children to play with, or a finish hammer. That's not what you need. You need like a framing hammer. Do you have one? No. Okay. Get in your car right now and go get one. This is how much you're going to spend. Better yet, come with me. I'll take you. Now's the time to get ready for those days when you have all that momentum behind you, that spring fever behind you, and you can put in them 14-hour days. It's pretty tough to do that in February. I'd like to put in 14 hours, but you really can't, because it wears you down mentally. You're lucky if you can put in an 8, and then you just pray for darkness to come so you can go unconscious, and wake up the next day. At least I do. I got to probably quit saying that. I don't hate winter that bad, but you know what? Once I have plateaued on this farm and I'm right where I want to be, which I don't know when that's going to be, then I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to take up ice fishing. Can't wait till it gets cold, and I'll have a sled behind a snowmobile on a trailer behind my truck, and I'm just going to go to the lake, drill holes, put out tip-ups, and hope I don't catch anything, because then I would have to clean it. And then drink a cup of coffee out there or 2, and then come home in the wintertime. Maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know. It sounds fun. Maybe I would be bored to death out there, or maybe I'd find somebody to talk to, or Jill would come with me and she would talk with me. Let's see what we got here. Message retracted. Jamie Cuttle, you retracted 2 messages. I wonder what she said. Did anybody see what she said? Making fun of me? Okay. Salutations, Braveheart McFreedom. Salutations from McFreedom's farm out west. All right. Belva Rockwell, are you putting in 2 or 4 post lift in your auto maintenance? I'm glad you asked. All right. So people have said to me that same question. People have asked me that question, and it put the thought in my mind that, oh, that's how you know you're serious, is if you're going to put a hoist in. A hoist being something you drive your car up on, and then you swing some arms out, and you hit the button, and it lifts the car up. So you can get under there with a flashlight, and you can look around. And it put that thought in my mind when I worked in a gas station. We had 2 lifts, and I put cars up on lifts all the time and did oil changes and mufflers and brakes and all kinds of stuff. And so I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to need to do. But the ones we had, it was a hydraulic cylinder that was down in the ground. And when you hit the valve, it came up under the car and took it up. But when it was down, there was nothing there. It set flush with the floor. Okay. But these hoists, it's got 2 posts or 4 posts, and then there's a mechanism, cables. Some of them have hydraulic cylinders, and they lift up on those posts. But when there's no car on there, it's there. And I kind of fell into this thinking that, gee, to do this right, I need to have a lift. And we started looking at it. Our building, by the way, is 24 feet wide, and the portion of the building that we're using is 30 feet. So it's going to be 30 by 20, 24, 30 by 25, 25, 24. Yeah, 24. And that's perfect for two stalls, you can fit two cars in there quite nicely, But if we put the lift in, a 2-post or a 4-post, it would have to be in the middle, because you want to be able to go up high enough, and the peak of the roof would accommodate that with a little bit of engineering. And so when there's nothing on the lift, it's right there in the middle. Can you get a car on the left side? Nope, too skinny. Can you get one on the other side? Nope. So basically the lift turns it into a 1-car stall. Now, if it was wider, let's say, or longer, let's say it was longer and we could drive in and then straighten the car out and go down, but still we would have to have a higher ceiling to lift it up, so you could walk under it. So we were contemplating that for quite a while, and a friend said, "Oh, you could put a pit in." Like, yeah, I could. And I started thinking about how I would do that. Thought it for a day and a half about how I would do it. I looked at how other people have done it. And, a pit is something, there's a set of stairs on one side. You drive the car over it, and you go down this set of stairs, and you're under the car. And, it's mostly for like greasing the front ends, doing oil changes. It doesn't help you with any kind of brakes or anything like that. If you're taking a transmission out, it would be helpful. Exhaust, it would be helpful. Taking an engine out would be helpful, because there's a lot you can do from the underside and then pull it out through the top. Yeah. But then you have to, when you get the car out of there, you have to put something over it so that it's not a safety hazard, so you still can do other things. And then I got to thinking, well, all of these things, transmissions, engines, everything on cars, I have done without that. And the main focus of this is to mentor my sons on this, 16 and 14, on fixing cars. And that's all I ever had. Matter of fact, at my parents' house, I did not even have a floor jack. I just used the bumper jack that came with the car to jack it up. I did have jack stands, so when I wanted to get up. And I used to take engines out and transmissions and all that stuff all the time. I got pretty good at it. So we decided that we're not going to do that. And that hoist, the one that we thought we wanted, was going to be about $4,500 and probably $5,000 by the time it was in, or $55. And I thought, wow, that's 2 cows. I could buy 2 new cows. And wait a minute, I'm not an automotive mechanic. This is just to maintain our stuff. I was doing oil changes all day long in order to make a living, then that's all I do there is oil changes. But that's not what we're trying to build. We're trying to build a place where if we want to do body work, we can do it right there. If we want to do any kind of custom exhaust work, we can do it. We don't need to. If we want to just change tires, we'll have a tire machine in there. We can do that. So I was actually talking with my youngest son, Frank, and we kind of came to the place where we don't need that. We just don't need it. It's an expense. And when you see them in people's shops, man, they take up a lot of room, and let's say you want to, well, you can drive through it and you can do body work. No, you get these posts kind of in your way all the time. And so we decided we're just going to have it be a non-hoist shop. We will use a floor jack and we will use jack stands if we need to put it up. Maybe there's a jack that I've seen before, never actually used one, but it has, you roll it around like a floor jack, only it's pretty big. The wheels are pretty far apart, and you put it under the front end, and it's pneumatic, and you pull a lever, and it brings just the front end up. The problem with that is it blocks the front of the car. So when you got to get under it with a creeper, you have to come in from the side all the time. So I think I like the idea of just putting it up with a floor jack and putting jack stands under it, and it's safe, and all that equipment is cheap, works every time. If an EMP goes off, it'll still work. I like the idea of having simpler equipment. Yeah, it takes me a little longer, but it's simpler. It's not going to break. A floor jack is not going to break, probably. And it let's say it did. Then I would go to Harbor Freight and I would get another one. And then I would fix this one in my spare. Okay, so that's a long answer to a question, but not going to do the hoist. I know a couple people that have hoists, right? And they're crummy mechanics. Well, maybe they're good mechanics, but they don't respond, Okay, go ahead and do this. It will never happen, right? So does the hoist, enhance their ability to get stuff done that people are willing to pay money to get done? No, it doesn't. So I don't think it's a big deal. Okay. So Belvin, no, I'm not putting in either. Belvin's saying, hello. That was Gary asking him that question. Okay. Well, hi to Gary too. The Black Country Girl. Black Country Girl says she has a question. If you have a question, let's hear your question. Black Country Girl. Brown Brothers Farmstead. There's a lot of coloration going on these names. Okay. I enjoy listening to the program. Thanks. Well, appreciate it. Listening while starting some seeds tonight. All right, good. Good. Called an end lift. Okay. End lift and jack stands works good. Yeah, that's true. I could use the end lift and then just pull it out. Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, good. That was a good show. It's 7:50. I'm going to get going. I still have some calves to go out and feed. Hope everybody's doing good. I guess the flavor I'd like to leave in your mouth, sometimes I'll say, time to get out there and get it done. You got to get prepped. It's more of you don't gotta, but now's a good time to do it because spring is coming. And that's when the grass grows. That's when the animals put on weight. That's when the birds sing. That's when you want to be outside getting a suntan or going swimming. And, the spice of life comes in spring. At least it does for me. Okay, I'm going to get going. Anyone can farm. Good night now.